How are you doing? Back with you again. My name is Abraham, and I would like to speak to you about the fall and the new beginning. It's time in the world that we live in to take things seriously. As an African American people, we have to start taking things seriously. We got to stop letting other people be our mother and fathers. We got to stand up and be leaders of our own race. We got to start looking at the world like we are the only peoples on the planet. In actuality, our circumstance is like we are the only people on the planet. But they don't want to give you anything. They don't want us to have anything. They don't want us to have jobs. They don't want us to have jobs. They don't want us to create jobs. If we create jobs, there's a problem. If you work on the job, there is a problem. So there is a certain type of mindset that these people have. I don't know how these people see us. Every ethnic group look at other ethnic group out of certain eyesight. And I believe the other ethnic groups look at us out of different eyesight than we look at other ethnic groups. Other ethnic groups seem like to me they have a deficiency in their thinking when it comes to us. And I could be wrong. I have made a lot of mistakes in my life, and this could be a mistake. I think that when the when the tribes started migrating to other parts of the world, and over thousands and thousands of years, the pigmentation of peoples began to change because of the climate that they were in. And more, their pigmentation began to change. Some of their thinking began to change along with their pigmentation. So I'm under the impression that if you stayed in a warmer climate, if you hadn't ventured out, your thinking would have been better until you venture out. Because if you lose something physical, you also lose something mental. When you begin to your skin tone begin to change and you begin to venture out in other parts of the world and your features begin to change. When these features begin to change, your mindset have to change along with your features. If you was in a colder climate, your environment was harsh and it takes hard to survive. Your thinking change. Your thinking change on survival mode, constant. You can't relax because your mental state is gotta survive because of the weather is keeping your conscious mind alert for survival. You didn't have a chance to relax. Wind come along, wipe out every little thing that you create. Nothing grows, nothing but ice, white ice, and nothing but you see, but nothing but cold weather, constant. So they have to have something to do. Have to have something to affect your psyche. And when you venture out and you see other people living in different lifestyles, living in a different environment, your behavior was offended because you wish you was in that place that there was. But if your ancestors had kept on moving and didn't settle down into Europe, that might not happen to your mindset. And then when you go to other parts of the world, when you start getting lighter and lighter and lighter, everywhere you go, if you go to a lot of parts of the planet, you can see the features of Africans there. Everywhere you go. So that tells me that the African was the first family on this planet. But a lot of people can't accept that. Africans didn't do it. The creator of the heavens and earth designed this creation. Excuse me. We just a part of the creation that he designed. And nothing we can do about it. He knows best. God does not make mistakes. There is no mistake in his vocabulary. He's perfect in anything that he does. And then you might say, well, he can make a mistake. Not God. You can make a mistake. But how can someone make a mistake who created everything that existed? Who even created the mistakes that you made? And the mistakes that you made, not understanding the correctness that he made. He is so powerful that we can't comprehend him. Don't think your mind can comprehend God. It can't. It'll destroy you even trying to even figure out God. You can't figure him out. How can you figure God out and everything that you get you study from his creation? His creation creates your intellect. You wouldn't even have an intellect if you didn't study his creation. His creation created your mindset. So how can you outthink God? And he created the thinking ability for you to think with. Wake up and realize we are playing with a powerful beyond your comprehension. My comprehension. Accept what Allah say and do it. Because it'd be better for you in the long run. There is no end to God. There is no beginning to God. That's why he's God. He controls everything that exists. Everything that you created, he's in the creation of what you created. And matter of fact, what you created, he is designing it to his desire. If he want to punish you, he'll create something inside you to make you punish you. He's the beginning and he's the end of you, not him. We have to understand the magnificent power of the Creator. He created light, but he's not light. He created fire, but he's not fire. He created love, but he's not love. He created hate, but he's not hate. He created everything that exists, but not affected by anything that exists. He's an independent of everything that he created. He's outside of everything he's created. You can't get outside of God's creation. There is no outside of God's creation in your eyesight. You never can figure out how to get outside of his creation. There is nothing beyond this creation but this creation. So we have to realize that the creator of the heavens and the earth is giving us more time. If God sent African Americans through 600 years or 500 years of pure hell up under these Europeans, don't tell me this God won't start punishing people again and again and again. Your suffering doesn't affect him. Your death doesn't affect him. Your love doesn't affect him. He's the creator of all that I just said. So the best thing for us to do as a people is to submit to a superior power that you know you didn't create this creation that you're in. You know you didn't create the water that you drink. You know you didn't create the food that you eat. And everything that he created, he controls. And he is so mercy in his rule, he created food to keep you nourishment. You ever notice when the scientists study the sperm of a human being and they take this microscope and look at the sperm, they see thousands of little fishes, look like little tadpoles swimming around trying to find something to penetrate. He trying to find the egg. And all the ones that made it to the egg is out here on earth now. I'm speaking to some of them now. I'm talking to some of them now. I see some of them now. But that sperm that you seen under that microscope is still swimming around in this material world. In this material world, just like that microscope was looking at them sperms under the microscope. We're still trying to find that natural egg for we can penetrate. That natural egg that we want to try to penetrate is a people on this planet is to find God. We are trying to find the reality that God have designed for us. We are swimming trying to find it, and a lot of us fall from the wayside. A lot of us die. A lot of us don't make it. A lot of us go retarded. A lot of us go crazy. And some of us make it. Pay attention to the reality that we are in. We know we ain't created all this that exists. We know we didn't make the seasons change. We know there has to be a power to bring. We know we didn't create ourselves. You know this vast creation didn't create on a whim. It had to be a master designer behind this design. And once you understand that there is a master behind the design, you will and understand this master behind the design, you will respect that design. And once you start respecting that design, you will reverence the God that made that design. America right now is under divine punishment. Who knows how this thing gonna end? Who knows the suffering that this country might go through for the things that it done? If we went through 500 years of pure hell, lynching, murder, killing, rape, of 500 years straight, don't tell me God won't punish His creation. And don't tell me the world that's beyond this one, the one that the hereafter. If we caught the hell as African Americans in America under slavery, that pure natural hell that we caught as African American in America, I don't want no part of hell in the hereafter. If it's anything like that. But the Quran said it's much worse. So the best thing for the people to do is straighten your act up. Because this thing can end tomorrow. And we don't know. We'll wake up in the morning, you didn't talk to your friend John on the phone, or you went over John's house or Frank's house, whoever house you went over, you talking to him, and y'all had a good old conversation. The next day somebody called, you know John that died last night? You say, well, I just talked to John this the other day. The same way that John died last night, tomorrow morning this could be the end of this creation as you know it. God is behind every door. God is behind everything that we do. He's with everything that we do. He is in everything that we do. He sees everything that we do. And He's calculating everything that we do. And what I mean by calculating, your own mindset is the tape that He's going to play back one day. Your mind is just like a tape recorder. It's recording everything, if you know it or not. And when He bring this mindset back and show you ain't going to be able to deny what you did, because you're going to see yourself saying what you say to yourself. So it's time for us to understand one thing. The God that created the heavens and the earth is real. He's more real than the air that you breathe. And believe me, you breathing air right now. He is more real than the water that you drink. He is more real than the food that you eat. He is more real than the things that you hear. Because all those things I just said, He is in every last one of them. And moving it in the direction that He wants us to go. They say Humpty Dumpty sit on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the King Horse and all the King Man couldn't put Humpty back together again. Who was Humpty Dumpty? Humpty Dumpty is the African American. Was on the wall. Had a great fall. And all they scientists and all they kings couldn't put us back together again. Only thing that can put us back together again is to trust in God. We have to trust in God. We have to trust in Allah. You have to put your trust in something that's more superior than yourself. You can't put your trust in man. Put your trust in God and follow the guidance that God have gave a man. And that man is Prophet Muhammad. May the peace and blessing of Allah be upon him. We need a guide to guide us through the pitfalls of this country or this world. We need a guide with a mag flashlight to find our way through this maze that these people have created for us. All the traps, all the pitfalls that they have designed for us to fall into. But we have a man that God have blessed to see these pitfalls, for you wouldn't have to fall in these pitfalls. We need to wake up before it's too late. And the time is moving. The time is not waiting on anyone. If you wake up in the morning and decide Judgment Day and this the end of this thing, can you imagine God doesn't care about you suffering? It doesn't faze him. He's a creator. You going back to him regardless of what you think or what you say. We have to think about the reality of things. How long do you think these Europeans is running around here destroying other people's country, going in other people's country, taking their natural resources? Don't you think it's going to have to come to an end? I was in my mother's house and I did something wrong. When she got back home, she tore my butt up, or my dad tore my butt up because I did something wrong in their house. If that happened in my mother's home and my father's home, don't you know this home of this creation is God's house? When he come to take care of the problem that you have created, he gonna stop this crap. And then when the wrath comes, just like the mother and the father coming home and you done did something you ain't had no business, it look like nothing that you can say, nothing that you can do can stop that bill. Nothing. It was just like that mother and your father, then they came home and you did something that you know you shouldn't have done. It's like they was in a rage of hatred, a rage of punishment, because they told you what not to do and you did it anyway. That's the same way it's the same way. God can give you warning after warning after warning. He tell you don't do this and don't do that, don't do this and don't do that. Just like your mother said, don't do this and don't do that. Like your father said, don't do this and don't do that. But you do it anyway. And then when your father and your mother come home, Judgment Day sets in. And you know it's Judgment Day because you did something you know your parents told you not to do. You know when God bring his wrath, you know you done something that he told you not to do. You got to start thinking, people. Allah is real. He's more realer than me speaking to you right now. He's realer than what you can imagine. He is so real that your imagination can't comprehend his realness. But we know for a fact, we didn't create this creation. We are living in his home, his house that he have designed. And everything that he have designed in his home, he told you how to live in his house. Just like your mother and the father tell you how to live in their house. If you think you can do better, go get your own house. If you could think you can do better than God's house, go get your own house. Create your own creation. And we know that's not possible. And we know a 15 or 16-year-old is not possible for them to go out there and create their own home. Punishment is coming for all the wrongdoers. Heaven is coming for all the right doers. Which side you gonna be on? You gotta take a side. You have to take a side. And that's a fact. No getting around it. No getting up under it. They told Moses, they was asking Moses, Moses, let me see God. Moses told these people, you can't see God direct. He's too powerful for you to see him just like you looking at me. He said, if you want to see God, you got to see God indirect. You got to see his powers hitting something. His power showing you something. So Moses told him, look at the mountain. If you see the mountain sway, you see God. But if you don't see the mountain sway, you don't see God. So when the people look at the mountain, they see the mountain going back and forth. And they went in a swoon down. They said, whoa, that's the sign of God. Look at the mountain of America. Look a couple weeks ago when they raided the Capitol. Look at how the mountain was shaking back and forth. The hands of God was whooping the mountain with their own people's hands. Don't think God have to use tornadoes and hurricanes to whip people back in submission. He can send your own people against your own people to whip you back in submission. Peoples on the street can cause more hell and chaos on the street that make you want to pray to God to come and solve these problems. Don't think you can out scheme God. Every scheme that you scheme, he's in the scheme that you're planning. And his planning in your scheme is his plan. Don't you think the plan that they went to the Capitol building, when they went to the Capitol building and raided the Capitol, they thought they was doing their plan. But God also did his plan. And his plan let the whole world see how weak your government is. How weak is this spider house that you live in? How fragile is this spider house that you call America? See how vulnerable it is. And so the peoples in the other part of the world see the whole house that they depend on for their protection shaking in his boots. So don't underestimate God. You have to pray and worship God. Because death doesn't bother God. Life doesn't bother God. Hatred doesn't bother God. Love doesn't bother God. Because all those things, he's the creator of those things. So he's not affected by anything in his creation. Nothing in his creation affects him. But he affects everything in his creation. My name is Abraham. And I'd like to speak to you again one day. In the near future, I hope. With something good or something better than this. Keep the faith. Stop being so impulsive. Think before you move. What do your ear look like? Your ear look like a question mark. Question everything that goes in it. Because what I'm saying right now is going in that question, in that ear that look like a question mark. Question it, analyze it, and see the validity in it. If it's any in there, look for it. Look for the connecting factors. And what's not connected, don't look for it. Don't look for the problems in it. Because some is good, some is bad. Because this is a human being that's speaking it. We have to think our way out of this madness that these people have got us in. A human being only goes as far as his thinking. The most important thing is your mind. The word man means mind. The word woman means wound of mind. Because every mind perceived from a woman, whether it's a male or a female. And protect that wound that bore you. Woman, stop acting stupid with yourself. Because you are the Garden of Eden. Life produced from you. Sacred life produced from you. The high place that God has put you in this creation. You are the mother of creation. Respect it. Honor it. Cherish it. Because creation can't go no further than a woman. When a woman stop having children, creation stops. Pay attention to everything that goes on. Pay attention again to everything that goes on. You have two eyes, you see one focus. You have two lips, you got one tongue. You have two ears, you hear one sound. There is one reality, there is one God that controls everything. There is not two gods, there is not three gods, there is just one. Have you ever went out of town and you was a foreigner, an individual out of town, especially African American going to another part of the country and all the Caucasians there, and you looking around, you looking for just one African American. You looking around to see if it's just one. And not only African Americans, Chinese probably do it, Arabs probably do it, Mexicans probably do it. They're looking for one that's like them, so they can feel a little comfort. When they see that one, not four or five, just one. The power of one. The power of one is very important. A lot of our people got glaucoma in their mental vision, not in their physical vision. In their mental, they can't see things focusly. They see things in a blurry. It's blurred. It's like somebody did something to their vision, to their mental vision. It's blurry. It's in a fog. They looking at life out of a foggy glasses. It's just like if you like me, when you have a mask on, you go into the store and you breathe and your glasses fall up. That's how they look at life. You have to take off your glasses and wipe them off. Because as soon as you put them back on, when you breathe through that mask fog up those glasses. And people look at life just like they looking out through fog. They can't see things in its proper vision because everything is blurry in their mental state. We have to understand that they said that Samson was a powerful man. They said the strength that Samson had was in his hair. Everywhere you see hair on your body is power. Hair on top of your head, thought, brain, hair around your eyes, sight, hair in your nose, smell, hair around your mouth, speech, hair up under your arms, power, odor, hair in your groins, power. Everywhere you see hair, you see power. So Samson, when they cut off his hair, they cut his knowledge base off. His knowledge was hair. That's why sisters cover their hair. That's why when you go into the masjid, you have to wear a kufi to cover your hair. Rituals have a meaning. We have to know, we have to study, we have to think our way out of this madness that these Europeans got us in. And believe me, when the world begin to fall, if you put a dog or cat up against the wall and he can't go nowhere, he can't go left, he can't go right, he can't go back, he can only go forward towards you, you got a dangerous creature on your hands. And that cat or that dog or that animal that's hung up in the corner, he will come out fighting to kill you to survive. The people that's running this world now, they actually see themselves being pushed in a corner. They can't go left, they can't go right. And the only thing they got in their power is the button. Don't you think that's the reason why they created it? When they get hung up in the corner, they ain't got nowhere to go, they'll end it. We have to bring some common sense to people reality. Because more and more you drift from reality into insane thinking. There's a thin line between insanity and sanity. Thin line. You can be sane this moment, and the next moment you can be insane. Totally crazy. My name is Abraham. I'd like to speak to you again on this subject. Thank you. Have a nice day.